Woo! Oh, get all that hair action in there. Pretty good moves, huh, Val? You like that? You like
Wow.
those moves?
I've never seen your bangs do that before. That was really remarkable.
Calling them bangs is very generous, but it's more just overgrown hair at this point. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to I Love Improv with Trent Dozier. I am the titular Trent Dozier. Happy to be here once again. Man, once a month, I don't love it. It's too long in between shows, and we'll talk about that later. Things are going to be different. But we're here. We're back live on Twitch, live right now, or maybe you're listening to this in the future on a podcast. However, you're choosing to consume it. We thank you for joining us. I already talked to her. You know she's here. She's here every single episode. If you're live on Twitch right now, say what's up to her in the chat. It's Val Agnew. What's up,
What's up,
Val?
Trent?
You know, thinking about a haircut, honestly.
You do
After that,
you.
I think it's time to do a little refresh, clean it up a bit.
Okay. I support you. Even if you want to grow it into a man bun, I support you.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm in California, in Chicago. It was good to have hair and stuff during the winter. And winter don't really exist here, so I don't need it as much,
I get it. But also, thank you for
Uh
that brag.
well, Val, you could move here if you wanted to too. In fact, I would love to have you here, but if not, that's also okay. I also love my friends who are still in Chicago. Um, Speaking of friends who are still in Chicago, or who I met in Chicago, but then moved to LA, that's who this week's guest is. But before we get to that, someone who I'm very excited to improvise with, we got to do a little bit of housekeeping. We are, of course, a part of the Trident Network. If you're on Twitch with us live right now, you're watching on twitch.tv/the Trident Network. This show, I Love Improv with Trent Dozier, is not the only Twitch show that the Trident Network has. If you hit the subscribe button somewhere down here-ish area, you will be notified anytime Trident Network is going live on Twitch on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, all the great shows we have. Some shows, including but not limited to Pilot Season, the newest show when did that debut, Val? Last week? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, last month.
It'll be on Thursday, so you should check that out, 8 p.m. Central Time. Val, would you like to speak a little bit about Pilot Season? Let the people know what it's all about.
Most definitely. Pilot Season pairs 3 improvisers with 3 screenwriters, and they, in the course of the show, create the perfect new sitcom pilot.
It's genius. It's brilliant.
It's very fun.
It's too perfect to fail, as they would say. Is that every Thursday or every other Thursday?
It's once a month for now, but if
Once a month
people
for now.
like it, maybe we'll bring it around every other week. You never know.
Well, if you're watching live on Twitch, tune in tomorrow for that at 8 p.m. Central. Or if you're hearing this on a podcast, look for more Pilot Season in 2023. Also, a new show's debuting Saturday at 2 p.m. Central. It's The Spark. Val, would you like to tell us a little bit more about The Spark?
Sure. Carly Heiser, or as she is known on Twitch, C2, is a very positive person. Anyone who's ever met her knows that she will make you feel better than you did before you spent time talking to her.
Confirmed, yeah.
Yes. So she is doing a talk show to brighten your day. She will be joined by a rotating crew of guests where they will just talk about life and how to make life good. And at the end, they will give pep talks to anyone who is attending the stream who would like one. So come and make yourself feel good on a Saturday afternoon.
That's awesome. Carly is a very positive person. I agree with that. And finally, you know them, you love them. They're back again on Mondays at 8 p.m. Central. It's the Witching Hour. Val, any thoughts on the Witching Hour?
My favorite witches are, bringing their favorite segments on astrology, tarot, moon cycles, herbology, etc. I hear there's going to be a fun new segment on this Monday's show, so tune in to find out what that is.
Oh, you gotta tune in to find out. And then finally, speaking of the Trident Network as a whole, Val, why don't you tell the people about the Chicago Readers Best of Chicago 2022 and how they can support the Trident Network?
Yes. So every year the Reader does a awards for the best of Chicago, and they have all kinds of different categories. But in the arts and culture category, there is a specific uh, section called Best Digital Content Theater. And you're watching a digital theater right now. That's what we are. So we would very much appreciate if you would go in their ballot and nominate us, the Trident Network. It should come down as a drop down because we've been nominated a couple times already. And it would mean a lot to us to have your support in that way. It only takes a couple minutes. I will put the ballot link in chat. And there's also a lot of other cool people in other categories. So click around and see who comes up. You might even see some of the previous guests from this show in some of the other categories. So nominations close on Friday. So please get in your nominations soon.
Wow. Great stuff, Val. We love the Trident Network, and boy, do we love Val as well. If you're in the chat, show Val some more love. Okay. Are we ready to get this going? Because we love the Trident Network and we love Val, but above all else, we love improv. Are you ready, Val?
Oh, so ready.
Okay, this week's guest is someone who I am extremely excited to both play with and also get to talk a little bit about improv with. I think everybody, whether you're watching on Twitch or listening later on a podcast, he's one of my favorite improvisers, and he's also very knowledgeable, and listen to him. You'll get some nuggets for sure. First, I would like to say that he will be on twitch.tv/the Queen of Filth on Friday, 12/9, which is this Friday if you're listening on a or if you're with us live right now. Otherwise, you'll miss it. But the Queen of Filth channel is doing a fundraiser for trans rights, I believe, and Tim is on in the 10:30 to 12:30 block of Pacific Standard Time. So if you're in the chat right now, tune in and also say hi to this week's guest, Tim Lyons. What's up, Tim?
How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Oh man, thanks for being here. Like I said, I'm super excited to be doing this with you. You know, you're a great improviser, and I love watching you improvise. And
thank you.
That's the whole point of this show, is me getting to play with great people who are good at improv.
Sure.
Okay, well, let's get freaking into it. I think no beating around the bush today. Let's dive into it. As Tim knows, we are going to get a suggestion, and as viewers of the show or listeners of the show know, that we of course need a suggestion in order for Tim and I to do improv. Two things. First of all, any suggestion is a good suggestion, of course, but here at I Love Improv with Trent Dozier, we love something a little meatier, a little heartier. So if you were thinking of giving the suggestion of antacids, maybe instead very funny, but not perfect, maybe something along the lines of like Trent is a chef who keeps feeding Tim stuff that gives him heartburn, and they're also twin brothers, and Tim has a dark side, something like that, something meaty, something for us to sink our teeth into right away. Now, if you have seen Tim and or myself improvise before, you might already know what type of characters you want to see us play or what type of scene you would like to see happen. So if you've already got a suggestion locked and loaded, please feel free to throw it into the chat now. If you have never seen Tim improvise, I am about to tell Tim what I love about him as an improviser. And if you sit there, if you listen to that, that might inform you as to what type of character you want to see Tim play or what type of scene you want to see everyone involved in. So without further ado, Tim, are you ready to be complimented on your improvisational comedy?
I'm going to try.
Yes, it's always uncomfortable in any scenario, but also specifically in this scenario, just to sit quietly and accept praise. But
no, give it all to me. I'll take it all.
Oh, good. I love that energy. Okay, Tim, like I said, you are one of my favorite people to watch improvise, especially like during my time in Chicago. I felt like Tim as an improviser was a very formative improviser for me, because I feel like one of your biggest strengths is that you are incredibly patient, and you are very like comfortable like sitting in a silence and stuff, and then like, you know, hammering home a zinger. And like, you don't have to, you're not, I feel like in Chicago there's a lot of people who are like, oop, there's 1 second of silence, better fill it. There can be no dead space or whatever. And I'm someone who, you know, really believes that like some of the best stuff can happen in that dead space. And Tim, I think you're one of the best people at like operating in those little nooks and crannies. I also think you're someone I admire, because I feel like my memory is not always good, and like I listen during shows, but I feel like I don't retain all the time. And sometimes callbacks that you make, I'm just like, oh my God, Tim Lyons, unbelievable. This guy's listening, paying attention. It's incredible. And then I think above all, you are someone who has my favorite quality in an improviser, which is like this, you know, like a sense of mischievousness. And any team I have ever seen you play on, there is always like, you know, that kind of the spark of mischievousness that I love to see in improvisers that I try to play with also. And I think like seeing you play with your friends and the team Fudge specifically, which is one of my 5 favorite Chicago improv teams. I think watching you play with Dan and Damien and Vince and like just all of you on stage together, really like that is something that the dynamic of like friends playing with each other is something that I like strive towards all the time. And I want to be able to play like that with everybody I play with, whether I'm close with them or not. And like, obviously on Fudge, you're super close with all 3 of those guys. And I think it comes through on stage. But I also think that shows through in all the other shows I watch you in. And I'm always like, that's great. I want it to feel like I am best friends with everybody who I'm playing with always. And I feel like that always comes through on you. And I love watching that. And I think there's too many people who are very much like, the show has to go well. I need the, you know, and I feel like you have an attitude of like, I'm messing around with my buddies tonight. And that's like what I love to see most of all. And then on top of all that, you're just smart and funny. So those 2 things are also helpful in an improviser. But that's it. I'll cut it off there. I think that's enough praise. How does that feel? Is that good? A fair
Let me
assessment?
go through and just point by point, go through everything you just said and figure out how to negate it. No, that was very nice of you to say, and some things that I've never heard that mischievous thing before, but I think that I could see that for sure. Yeah, if I find you know a weakness on somebody, I'll certainly really go hard for it.
Yeah.
But no, that was very nice, and the idea that playing with people, it looks like I'm playing with my friends. That's what I would hope that it looks like. So that's good to hear. That's nice to hear.
Well, hopefully the scene Tim and I are about to do will look like 2 friends having fun, huh? So if you haven't thrown a suggestion into the chat yet, feel free to go ahead and do that now. If you already have, thank you very much. Val, how are things looking on the suggestion front?
Well, we have a few actually.
Cool.
I'm going to take the first one and add a little tiny bit from the second one. So
sounds good.
You are both on a bus, and one of you is hogging the last seat, and the other one is not pleased.
Okay.
And Queen of Filth requests that Alf be mentioned at least once during this scene.
All right.
I think we can deliver on that.
Sure.
Okay, thank you for the suggestions. Thank you, Val. Tim, let's do a little bit of improv.
Let's rock and roll. Can you sorry, can you just this zone that I'm in right here?
Yeah.
I saw you because I know the back of the bus is like the hip place to go, but can I just save just these couple of seats here?
You got to save seats on the bus?
Yeah, just this one and the 2 in front of me.
Oh, this is just this is the only, I just did a bunch of Christmas shopping. Can I please just sit here?
No, because there are some friends of mine, or I'm hoping that they will be my friends, and they are getting on the bus in 3 stops. And I just want to make sure that if possible, they can sit in this area, and then maybe like a little conversation will blossom between the 3 of us. But I just need these 3 seats to be open.
It sounds like you might be stalking somebody.
I'm not stalking somebody. I'm not
Okay.
stalking somebody. I just saw on their Instagram that they were shopping at Macy's,
Mm-hmm.
and then I saw that they would be catching the bus home. And so I
Mm-hmm.
said, I'll be on that same bus at the same time. It's serendipitous, is what it is. It's not stalking. It's the
Well,
other S word.
it's not serendipitous if you are like pre-planning it.
It would be serendipitous if it happened, if my plan came to fruition. Is what would be serendipitous for a plan.
No, okay. I think
There's a seat right up there. There's a seat right up there.
I don't want to sit that close to the driver. I like to sit in the back because I get motion sickness, and the further back on a bus I am, the less I feel sick.
Sit in the little wagon wheel where the bus creases.
Oh,
That
do you
spot
want me
never
to
moves.
throw
That's
up?
like being on a steady cam. It never moves. You would never actually move in that spot.
No. Have you ever sat in that spot?
Yes,
Well, why don't you go sit over there and
because
wait
there's
for your
somebody sitting
friends?
there and they got a bag there, and there's not. I have a perfect spot here with 3 open seats for
Well,
when they get on the bus.
Can't I just sit on this spot for 3 stops? I'm only going 4 stops, so I'll be needing to get off anyways.
No,
I
because
won't.
so if you're going 4 stops and they're getting on 3 stops, that means when they get on the bus, they're going to see that there's not 3 seats here, and they're going to not sit here. They're going to sit on the wagon wheel in the weird spot where I'm not going to have a spot.
Right, but I'm telling you, I know your situation. I understand that you're stalking this couple or whatever.
I'm not stalking them. I'm not stalking him. Listen here, you elf-looking motherfucker. I need these 3 seats. Okay, I'm sorry that I freaked out at you. You don't really look like Alf. You sound like Alf a little bit, which is a compliment because he was very famous on TV.
He was very famous.
Yes, but I need these 3 seats for me, for 3 friends, possible friends that I will have in the future. You have to understand my situation.
And you have to understand my situation. I've been bullied for not only sounding but looking like Alf for the last 32 years of my life. And you know what? I'm 32 years old. So that's my whole life. I've been bullied on this whole Alf situation. And I don't appreciate that. I think Alf is capable of spreading holiday cheer, and that's what I'm trying to do on this bus by just having a seat, I guess. I don't know. I didn't watch Alf. I just know I get called Alf all the time.
Okay, well, I apologize. I didn't know that is something that happens to you. How could I have known?
Because I look like Alf, which is what you said.
That's fair. That is fair. But how could I have known that other people have noticed that? I kind of have a unique brain, truth be told. I've been told that I'm kind of unique, and my thought process says are unique. So
I guess that makes...
I just thought that was a unique thought that I had, that you look like Alf.
I could see, if you've been told your whole life that you have a unique brain, I guess I could see how you think that this meeting would be more serendipitous than stalkerish.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's not a stalker situation where I'm trying to date Sarah, who's one of the people that's getting on the bus.
Okay.
Because she's with her boyfriend, Steven. So like Sarah and Steven are very popular. And then they're with their friend, Jessica. And so I'm not even interested in Jessica. I'm just interested in getting into this friends group. And then maybe from there, more friends end up being my friend based on their popularity to other people in the high school.
Like a bit of a friend chain, kind of.
A bit of a friend chain, yeah. A bit of a friend domino effect, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, your brain actually does kind of function on a different wavelength, for sure.
See? And you seem like a very nice guy.
Well,
maybe at a different lifetime, in a different serendipitous situation, we could be friends. But right now, I need you to get the fuck away from me.
Right, yeah. I'm sorry.
There is a seat up there, and we are a stop and a half away from me possibly fulfilling my destiny.
Yeah, I don't want to. It's the holiday season, and you're right. I wouldn't want to get in the way of destiny. I think that's okay. I wish you luck. I'll go sit in the spot that you were talking about. Okay. Happy holidays and God bless you, and may Christ shine his light upon you.
You want money?
What?
What is this?
Are you
looking for money now? Are you looking for some kind of donation? What are these? Christ shine on you? You're shaking your little hat in front of me. What do you want? Do you want money?
No, I'm just giving you a nice this is a typical holiday send-off that I say to strangers or
you're shaking
family.
You're shaking your little elf hat in front of me. Your little elf hat.
Did you say an elf hat?
I said elf.
Did you?
No, I said elf.
You said
I
an
didn't say
ALF
elf.
hat?
I said it looks like a
Unbelievable.
little
I
elf
thought you and
hat.
I worked past that. I thought you and I worked past that.
We are past that. I said elf. I understand that sounds exactly like elf.
It sounds like elf. It sounds like
it
you're
sounds
saying
like elf,
to
but
me.
I think you're having you're triggered a little bit.
Well,
and that's fair.
I've been bullied for 32 years about my ALF situation.
That's true. You're right. You're right. I'm sorry. You're shaking your little elf hat in front of me like you want a little donation or something. I can hear change in there already. So are you raising money for something?
Well, my dad needs a surgery.
Okay, that's vague.
Well, it's elective.
Okay. That's fine. You know what? That's none of my business. Here, this is a $2 bill.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
No problem.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
May Christ's light shine upon you.
Okay. Understood.
Good. I'll be over here. I hope your
right.
friends come on the bus.
Me too. I hope they come too. Can you stop looking back here?
Were you? Was that to me? Were you addressing me?
Yes. You keep looking
excited.
back here like you're waiting for it to happen.
I am waiting for it to happen. I'm excited to see how this all progresses. I'm really praying for you and hoping that things turn out okay. 'Tis the season, you know.
It is the season. Thank you.
No, Jessica. No, let's sit in the front. We're getting off in only one stop anyway.
Yeah, okay. But what about the back? The back looks more open in general.
Yeah, I know, but I just don't want to go all the way back there. And there's that weird guy.
I don't think he looks that weird.
They're talking about you, Alf. Move. Lean back.
I don't think they're talking about
Lean
me.
all the way back.
I'm basically out of the bus right now.
I don't know.
Steven, what do you think?
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, let's just go to the back. We'll sit by the guy who looks like Alf. He doesn't seem like too much of a weirdo, unlike the dude who's waving.
Alf, come sit by me. Alf, come sit by me. I need you to come sit by me now.
Sorry.
Oh, that weird guy is sitting next. Okay, well, I guess we can't fit.
It's fine.
It's fine.
They suck anyway. I wanted you to sit by me the whole time.
They suck. They all three look hot and fun.
They are very hot and fun, but I need you to sit with me right now so it doesn't look like I'm a loser.
I can even tell.
I need to reframe the conversation.
Between who? You and me, or between them?
Between them and my image, because I just heard them say I'm a loser who's sitting in the back of the bus by myself. So I need to show them that I actually have a friend. So you're with me now.
Okay.
Fine. Yeah. Here, it's another $2 bill.
Thank you. Beautiful. This is going towards my father's surgery. I want you to know. So he appreciates it.
Good. I'm glad.
He and my mother recently separated after 34 years of marriage.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's 2 years after you were born.
Yeah. Good
2
math.
years longer than you were born.
Yeah. Wow, you have a great memory.
Thanks. Yes. Sorry I was so rude to you earlier. I just have a image problem, and they're the popular kids at school, so I just really wanted to be a part of that group. And sorry if I came on strong, and I'm just very passionate about what I want.
I understand that. I'm more similar to my mother in a lot of ways, but my father is also a person who's very passionate about what he wants. And so I see a lot of him in you, and it honestly warms my heart. Even though clearly I'm older than you are and you still got a lot of life ahead of you, you do remind me of my father, and I think you'll be just fine. I don't think you need those other kids, despite how hot and fun they are.
Yeah.
You'll grow into your body.
What is that? What is that supposed to mean?
Well, as you continue to age, you'll grow into your body. I
Well,
can.
that's a given. But why go straight for my body? My body has not come up this entire time, and now all of a
Well,
sudden it's about my body. I
well,
think that I'm
well,
cool and hot, and I belong with that group of people. But now all of a sudden you're giving me the elf treatment that I gave you.
you could. I mean, are you saying Alf or Elf?
It doesn't matter. I'm calling
okay.
you. I'm saying you're
Okay.
giving me the elf treatment that I gave you. So
I see.
you're coming at me.
I see. Well, I think what I'm saying is, ironically, you do kind of currently have the build of like an elf, like the fictional character Elf, not a
Yeah.
fictional character Alf. But I'm saying, your body will continue to grow and change, and as you get older, you'll fill out more, and you'll probably get taller. What are you now? 3'8", 3'9", a little below that.
3'7".
3'7". Oh,
Yeah.
Well, you will grow, and if not, you'll just be a short king your whole life. And let me tell you, there are ladies who love a short king, and I think that could be you. My dad's a bit of a short king, himself. So
Really? That's good.
yeah, he's 4'1", but
Wow.
yeah,
I'd love to be 4'1". Oh my god.
it's a dream.
I can't
It's a
imagine.
dream. Honestly, I don't see why you won't get there one day. How tall are your parents?
My mom is 4'5", and my dad I think is like 5'1".
Okay, I think you'll at least hit 4'6", 4'7".
We can only hope so.
I mean, what are you, a freshman in high school right now?
I'm a senior.
Okay. Well, okay.
But like you said, there's still time.
There's
Like,
still
I'm
time. There's
Barely,
certainly
yeah.
still time. Yeah.
Like I'm just going into college, so the
Yeah.
college, they always say you gain the college 5 or 20 or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah. In weight, I don't know about.
Well, sometimes weight goes up.
Yeah, I guess it could. I don't. Coming to mind, I can't think of any examples of that. But I'm sure there are. That's not. Height and weight is not the medical field that I'm in. So I don't know a lot about that type of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, they're getting off. Jessica, Sarah, Steven, I'll see you in school tomorrow morning.
Who said that?
I don't know. Let's just continue to get off the bus like we were going to do.
They can't see me behind the seat. Lift me up.
No, stand up.
Lift me up.
Look at that guy doing the Lion King with that other guy.
Hey, I'll see you in school tomorrow.
Oh, is that the guy from math? Hi, guy from math.
Hey, you plus me equals us.
Okay, that seemed to go well.
I think that was great.
Oh my God, I think you're going to be in there for sure.
They noticed me. They remember me from math class.
Oh, that's so good. I'm really excited for you.
Yeah.
I hope it seems like you're about to be on a good track for the second half of senior year.
Thank you. And I hope everything goes well for your dad's elective surgery that you're raising money for.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, my stop is next, so I think I might go up and wait by the door.
Okay.
I don't want to be. I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but here's the $4 back that you gave me, and I just I don't know. It's elective. My dad can raise money in other ways, and I think you just. I don't know. You have a bright future, and I wouldn't want to stunt that by taking money from you.
Thank you. I didn't want you to leave here with your elf hat empty-handed, but I appreciate that.
That's okay. I do have coins in there. You did identify that correctly earlier.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
There's some stuff jingling around, so
good.
I think I think it'll be fine. And you know what? If he doesn't enlarge his penis, I think he'll be able to live with that.
Good. Yeah. It's not the size that matters.
No.
I know.
Yes. Lord knows. And maybe one day it will be the size that matters. It just depends. Either way, I think you're going to be fine.
Thank you. It's great to meet you, Alf.
Are you kidding me?
What? I didn't realize. I forgot that wasn't your name. I thought you introduced yourself as Alf. I forgot that I was the one who called you Alf. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
All right, get off the bus with me. We're fighting.
What? Why?
We're fighting. We're having a physical altercation. Anybody who wants to see me fight this high school senior. You and
You're
me.
weird. We don't like this. You're weird.
No, I'm gonna fight this high school senior. It's gonna be okay. He keeps calling me Alf. He deserves it.
Are you Alf?
No, I'm not Al. My name is Brevin Topaki, and I'm gonna be running for local senate when I reach the appropriate age.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. That's great.
All right, thanks. This is my stop. Okay, that's the scene.
Nice.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Very fun. That was
Very fun. Very good time.
Yes, that was easily the most characters we've ever had in one scene in this show. And it, I think I've always been a little intimidated to kind of delve into that world, because it's it's weird because, as I've said before, we are doing this for the Twitch medium, but we're also doing it for the podcast medium, and so it comes across differently either way anyways. And so I'm always just like, on high alert, but I don't know, it went very smooth and went very well, I thought. And we established so early that we were waiting for these people, so like there would have been no way to not have them come on the bus. But
Yeah.
I thought it was a very fun area to kind of like spread our wings into, that in this medium, or at least with me and Val, we haven't specifically gotten a chance to do that yet.
Yeah. No, I think that was the perfect way to use it. I feel like that's like the perfect way to enter a two-person scene. And Val, you did it wonderfully. Is to not take away from the two things that are happening, but influence their want. And I think that's what Val did very well. Yeah.
Yes, great job, Val. As we all know, Val also a very capable improviser.
Yes.
Thank you.
Tim, did you do a lot of online improv or anything? Like, obviously, so Tim, of course, is one of the hosts of Improv is Dead, which is one of my favorite improv podcasts, which you guys can listen to, and I would highly recommend listening to. They just started season 3, I think it is.
Yes.
But so, like, I know you guys, I've done a couple episodes and we're on Zoom for that, but it's purely released in podcast form. Had you done a lot of like actual like Zoom improv and stuff during the pandemic, or?
No, no. I it just never it never like once we kind of like stopped with IO and everything like that, I was like, I think I'm gonna take a little break for a little bit. And Dan and I had been talking about doing it in the podcast form, but we didn't want to do it with where we didn't have sound effects. I think the big thing for us was like it'd be great to do this and like have it be like a more of like a play or something like that, like a sound effects play.
Yeah.
Than it would be just to have like kind of people palling around doing an improv podcast, because a lot of those exist. So we wanted to have something that was a little bit more immersive.
Yeah.
So I did a couple, like folks had them, and I sat in a few, but for me it was never something where I was like, I need it so much that I want to take it online, that type of thing.
Yeah. And also I like that the sound effect aspect is one of my favorite parts of Improv is Dead, is like it's in a lot of ways like listening to, like an old radio play or stuff that they had on the 40s and 50s in radio in those days, kind of like, predating television, where you and Dan add in all the sound effects in post, and it like, it really enhances the experience as a listener. I think that's very cool. And obviously it's different for us, but go ahead. I cut you off.
Well, I was just gonna say we're both big fans of like Mike O'Brien, who is a Chicago guy, and he releases like audio kind of albums. And Adam Sandler back in the day, did stuff like we're not certainly not the first to do it. We're just very much influenced by that type of comedy. And I think that we had not heard an improv specific podcast, or at least not with like our style that was doing that. So we were like, it feels like there's an opening for this maybe.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, it is like, it's different. It feels very different than all the other improv stuff I'm taking in a good way. And also, I do feel like a lot of other things that I listen to, I don't like. I know you and Dan, and I knew you guys before you did the show, and I've been lucky enough to be on the show, and I just like, it's different listening to, like I said, Fudge is one of my 5 like core Chicago improv teams that when I think about Chicago, they're one of those teams. And like, yeah, I don't know. I started rambling and I forgot. I lost my train of thought, but I love
I
the
understand.
podcast.
Yeah. Well, I just recently went and saw one of my original core teams, Cook County Social Club. Those guys are out here in LA,
Yes.
and they did a show at UCB called Via Chicago. So it was all Chicago people. And just watching them we were heavily influenced by them. And even their style is different than our style, where they do a lot of meta stuff. They break the fourth wall.
Yeah.
They will talk to each other like as characters, at out of character. Like they just have that similar thing you were talking about of playing with your friends
Hmm.
and being able to do
Oh
that type of
yeah.
stuff because you're so comfortable. They are beyond. I take them as like the group that's like beyond that. Them and I think like Superhuman too is a great team who still plays in Chicago at the Annoyance. They have that kind of
Superhuman, one of the five.
comfortability.
Yep.
Yeah, they have that similar where it's just like they can kind of mess with each other, break the fourth wall. They're comfortable making those moves and comfortable that their teammates will pick up on that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think it's very interesting that it feels like I don't know if I don't know if people identify like mischievousness in a way that I do, but I do feel like a lot of people, whether they know it or not, when they're saying like the type of people they love are like those type of, mischievous players in the sense of like Fudge or Superhuman or Cook County, where it's friends playing together and you're like, you know, everybody's at a point where you're as experienced as you can possibly be and you want to have a good show always, but you're also like like Tim's like I'm gonna mess with Dan in this way tonight, or
Mhm.
whatever. And like because it's your friends, you might not even know walking on stage like, oh, this is what we're gonna do. But like I know like if Cam and I, former guest of the show, Cam Hurt, are doing two prop like that to me and Cam is my version of Fudge or Superhuman or what have you. And like if Cam slips up on a word, like if he says banana instead of banana, then I'm gonna be
Classic.
like, we're never forgetting that. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll never let you live that down. And I feel like he does that with me. And like I said, teams like Fudge or Superhuman or Cook County. I was also at the Via Chicago show,
Yeah.
and that was like an incredible set that they had. And they
Mhm.
are very like they do it in a way where like I feel like Fudge or Superhuman, you guys don't necessarily like go as meta as like I mean that Cook County show got in some very wild places, and the
Yeah.
blackout line was literally like that's what good improv is.
Yeah.
So it's very like, but I think that's the style I love the most is seeing that within
Yeah.
people, them like, really chasing the fun. And I feel like that's
Mhm.
something we learned as students, but then I feel like a lot of people are like, okay, I got to remember the rules. And I think the most successful improvisers are people who are like, well, the number one rule is I should have fun.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna. And it
Yeah.
feels like those are the most, successful shows that you see, or the longest
Absolutely.
running teams and stuff.
Yeah.
I have a
Yeah. It's definitely. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to ask both of your takes on something because you both play with like people who are clearly your very good friends and you vibe really well together. Do you
Yeah.
think that you knew who you were as an improviser and thus were able to find those people, or do you think that playing with those people helped you kind of figure out who you were as an improviser and that's where you became comfortable?
It's a great question.
That's a
I
great question, Bill.
definitely. I think meeting Dan specifically, we met in level 2 at IO. Certainly informed the way I play and kind of like the way I see comedy. We've had many of like a late night conversation about improv.
Hmm.
But I think that the thing that influenced me most in like becoming an improviser and as I was coming up was just seeing so many shows and we would just go to shows constantly. We had the privilege of being able to do that, and it was a
Yeah.
much smaller community at the time. Um, so we were able to just kind of like see all the hit shows and like all the best people at the time, and you were able to just see like what works and what doesn't. You were able to see we saw so many shows where like the people we love most would do like a bad show. And I think seeing people that you really respect and admire do a bad show
Yeah.
is super informative because they're the best at it. But at least you can get to see like, oh, sometimes it's just like things aren't clicking, it's not going. But you can act, but it helps you see what went wrong. You're able to see what went wrong for them too, and then having those own experiences for yourself as well after the fact. But
Yeah.
definitely became a different performer playing with Dan and Damien as we kind of got together and found our style.
I feel like the thing that I think the biggest thing I agree with is the ability to go see shows and see the amount of shows that we were all able to see as students and then also as performers and even like as teachers or whatever. Like at that time, I feel like from I was just talking to someone about this yesterday. I feel like roughly from 2010 to 2020, if you were in Chicago at that point, you were seeing on a nightly basis some of the greatest comedy that's ever existed in the world. And like that was like I remember, like the first year I was in Chicago, I didn't get to do a lot of shows, but I was in class and I was going to see a ton of shows. And I feel like the people that I saw of like my generation who also kept growing and like became great improvisers and are still improvising are the people who I would see at shows every night and like taking it in and learning that way, learning by watching others.
Mm-hmm.
And like for me, like I don't think it like I think obviously there were a lot of great teachers in Chicago, and you could like throw a dart blind and hit a good teacher. But I would I was in a position where I could pick my teacher at IO. I mean, we all were, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna go see their shows, and based on the people and how they performed, that's how I chose my teacher for the next level. And so I was almost like crafting my perfect experience by being like, oh, I love watching Farrell Walsh play, for
Mm-hmm.
example. I'm going to make sure I have him in level 4. Or Joran, who's been on the show. I was like, I love Joran. I'm going to make sure I have him. And I did for level 3. And like, kind of like crafting your own way that way. I also, to answer your question about, I feel like I've known who I was as an improviser from like 10 years old because I have 3 younger brothers, and I feel like I improvise like someone who grew up in a house of boys wrestling all the time. And the in Northern California at Made Up Theater when I first started, that first team I was on was, 4 dudes, and we all, were very physical and wrestled, and I was like, "Oh, this is like how I lived my life." And then when I moved to Chicago, I feel like my most successful teams were like also that style of like, but also that is like me. That's how I play. I'm physical and I'm goofy and I like to, chase the fun in that way. So I think in a lot of ways I was like preset as an improviser already, but also I was, obviously very open to being influenced and like seeing Tim play. I'm like, "Oh,
Mm.
there's stuff that Tim does that I could do more of or do better, like, or I mean really any of you on Fudge."
Well,
um
I took a workshop once with Jet Evelith. I don't know if anybody had seen her play in Chicago, but she is a great performer, but not my style whatsoever. Much more of like a
yeah.
clowning style. Would be able to go straight into characters, just like a very good improviser. And I took a workshop with her, which is not like I don't I didn't identify with her style at all. So I was like, but I was just like, I know she's very talented. It would be
Hmm.
interesting to take this workshop. And she gave me like one of the best notes that I've ever gotten, which was I talk too much. Like at the time, I was talking too much. Like I was
Yeah.
setting up the entire scene before we even got into it, before we even got to
Yeah.
play. I was like, look at this hotel room and the beautiful view, and oh, the mini fridge has all these drinks. It like I was like, here's everything that we could possibly play with all in the first 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And then she was like, all right, you have to do a scene where you can only say like 3 words at a time. And after that's if there's anything that influenced any kind of patience in me, it was getting that note and being like, oh yeah, that's like it's so much more fun to explore it together than it is to be the one who's like, I need to be the funny person on stage and set everything up so that I feel comfortable now, and now
Hmm.
you can play with everything that I've set up. So I
Yeah.
think that's a great, if you're looking for an exercise to do with your improv team, that's a great one to do because it helped me greatly get that
Yeah.
break that bad habit that I had.
Oh, okay, we'll end on this question. Oh, were you gonna say something,
Oh
Val?
no, it's okay. If we have to wrap up, it's okay.
Okay, well, I had one more thought that made me think of that, Tim, because I it's interesting because now I think you play with a lot of patience, but hearing that you were someone who was like, which I think is a trait of a young improviser, someone who's like, I gotta set everything up immediately so we know what's going
Mm-hmm.
on. Um, I am capable of leading a scene, but I hate it, and I would much rather always follow and like either mirror someone or like play opposite them or like, but I will lead a scene if I have to, but I don't like to do it. How do you feel about leading scenes, especially like within the Fudge ecosystem? I feel like I've seen all of you do it in different points,
Mhm.
How do you feel, especially now being like a more evolved improviser?
Yeah. I feel like in Fudge, a lot of times I would come out with something real quick, even if it wasn't like an actual scene idea or I had an
Yeah.
idea of what, just to kind of get the momentum going a little bit. So I think
Mm-hmm.
in that way, I still get a little nervous at the top of shows where I'm like, all right, at least something needs to be happening. Like I need to say
Yeah.
something, get it out
Yeah.
there. But I've had fun in both ways, of like following somebody else's lead, miming them, letting them give me the gift of whatever character I'm going to be. Dan's very
Mm-hmm.
good at that, of just like tossing something my way, low status character, and then I can just kind of like live in that world.
Yeah.
Um, but I find myself still being most comfortable if I'm the one who like gets the initiation out for the scene and then kind of lets everybody else fill in. I won't fill it in as much as I used to, but I will
Yeah.
certainly like be the one who will say something at the top
Mm.
and then kind of let the chips fall as they may.
Mm.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, I think the greatest takeaway from this, and I think the greatest takeaway from my time as a student of improv, which I am still, um, go see shows. That's the
Mm-hmm.
best way to learn and grow, I think, is to see shows, especially of performers who you love and respect. And like, Fudge was a show that I would go out of my way to see because it was a team that I loved, but you are also learning from them while watching them. Same with Superhuman or like Three-Peat Wet Bus, Great Lakes Activity Center. Those were my big five. Um, and then the late 90s hovers above the whole list. Anyways, so go see shows. Tim, thank you so much for joining us.
Of
As
course.
we
Thanks for having me.
mentioned, please also check out Improv is Dead. I love the podcast. They also have a Patreon, which is, I think, patreon.com/improv is dead.
Sounds right to me.
Sounds right to me as well. Also, if you wanted to follow Tim on Twitch, you can follow him at Thirst Trap Tim. Tim streams on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And like we mentioned, if you're listening to this on a podcast, it's too late. But if you're here live with us right now on Twitch, tune in Friday from 10:30 to 12:30, twitch.tv/the Queen of Filth. Also, thank you, Queen of Filth, for the suggestion.
Solid
This
suggestion.
Friday, 10:30 to 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. Tim's going to be in that block. But the whole day, the whole 24 hours is the fundraiser, right, Tim?
12 hours.
12 hours.
I don't want to make her go an extra 12 hours based on this.
Yeah, the struggle. That's a long day.
It's a
But
long day.
but righteous and for a good cause. So tune in for those. Check those out. Also, like we said, check out everything that's going on the Trident Network. Go to thetridentnetwork.com for more information on all things Trident, or subscribe to the Trident Network on Twitch, which you're watching right now. And then finally, as we teased at the top, 1 month in between shows is just too long. And, these last couple months have been hard for me scheduling wise, but in the new year we're going back to twice a month. Woo! And we are
Congratulations.
switching days. We are going to be on the second and fourth Monday starting in January. I believe January 9th is the first show, Val.
Yep.
So we'll be back live on twitch.tv/the Trident Network on January 9th, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And then finally, there is no Cam and Trent's family reunion this month. But if you'll recall, Cam and I are a part of the Chilax Collective, which is a bunch of Chicago improvisers who moved to LA. And then we started doing shows at the Yard Theater. Chilax, Chicago to LA. Chilax, very fun. Future guest of the show, Alan Giles, coined the term. So instead of all 4 shows doing their individual shows this month, we are doing one big holiday, the Chilaxmas holiday special. It's going to be on Wednesday, next Wednesday, which is December 14th at 7 p.m. Pacific time at the Yard Theater in Los Angeles, California. Val, if you could throw that link in the chat, that would be great. Hell yeah. Love you, Val. Thank you. So if you're around, come check out some great improv, some fun sketch, solo, stand-up. We'll have it all. It'll be all of our Chilax favorites from the past 6 months of shows. So if you're there, hope you can come. And if not, have a wonderful holiday season. We'll see everybody in January. Tim, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I was
Val,
blessed.
Val, thank you as always.
As always.
Listeners, viewers, however you choose to intake this, thank you as always. And remember, I love improv.